My name's Charlie. A lot of people will call me a caricaturist, a lot of people will call me a cartoonist, a lot of people will call me a sketcher. I don't know what I class myself as, I just know I'm an artist, so I tend to take people's faces and make them cute. I don't really class myself as a caricaturist because I don't make people ugly and I don't really like that style. But I like to put smiles on faces, and the way I do that is by turning you into a cartoon, and that's basically what I do for a living. I've been doing it for 17 years. Is it 17 years this year? It's 17 years this year. So I've been doing it for 17 years and I haven't really stepped forward for the last 5-6 years. I was in another job, I wasn't enjoying that job, and I wanted to get away from it as soon as possible because it wasn't good for me. So what I want to do is do a job that I'm happy doing, and images makes me happy. I love going out to events, weddings, birthday celebrations. I love putting smiles on people's faces and just giving them a giggle for 5 minutes. I am not your usual caricaturist. I will sit up and let you come to me, we'll sit, talk, and I'll draw you, and the picture will either be themed or unthemed. So if you had a favourite Star Wars character, or if you had a favourite superhero, or you're into Disney princesses, or you want to be holding a koala, or you just want to be something else, not you, I can do that. You just need to explain to me what you need. The last couple of events I've been doing, I've had people come up to me and say, why don't you do YouTube, live videos, or explain how your process works. My process isn't the same as everybody else's. Everybody else does digital art. I'm not saying I don't use computer, I do, but everything I do is formulated so that I can take an image and play around with it, fix it on the computer as a final drawing, and then use the computer to colour it. I do that through two processes, two programs. I'm not Adobe specialist or anything. I'm self-trained, so everything I've got is a cheaper version, basically. Not that that's any different. I can still do the same job with Adobe, but I prefer using the things I've been using for the last 10 years. I'm lucky I've got friends and family that have spread word of mouth, and the only way that the images is going to be found is through word of mouth and social media. I'm not a big fan of social media. If I could give up Facebook and everything, I would, but it's the only way you get noticed now is by being on social media. It's a powerful tool, but it's also a pain in the bottom, so it takes up a lot of your time, and when you're a full-time working dad and you haven't got that time, you need to make it. So I normally do my job, I come home and then I work for myself. So what I'm going to do today is take you through the process of what I do to get an image from start to finish. I've never done a YouTube video before. I've never done a explanatory, artistic explanation of how my process works. So if you're interested, you're interested. If you're not, you're not. You don't have to keep watching. Press the stop button now. But I need to do something for me, so this is time for me to try and step forward and bring images up. So the process of Little Images starts here. I haven't got a studio. I work from my bedroom. Excuse me. It's not that I want to. It's the only option I have. So I have a computer desk. As usual, I have two screens. A larger screen and a smaller screen. A desk that I was kind of given by my godson, which holds out very well with a computer over the back. Yes, that's Stanley. And my light box for where I begin to do work, whether I'm doing a base sketch or whether I'm going from straight away and just sketching pencils out for shapes for body movement and that. But yeah, that's basically the setup where I sit and work. So on my left hand side I have another unit. This is where I keep my clothes, but it's basically that holds my scanner and my pencils and my colours. Excuse me. That's basically where I go to, so I can work on one side, and if I need a colour, I'll turn to get whichever colour I need, or when I'm doing colour images by hand. But usually I draw freehand, so everything I do is drawn by pencil. I then ink it and scan it into the computer. From there I will tidy up the image and make sure that it's clean lines. I have a trimmer in my drawing hand, which when I'm drawing, it does, if I'm holding a pencil, it does stop, but as soon as I let go of a pencil, the trimmer comes back. I don't understand it. I had meningitis when I was 21 and it affected the left hand part of my brain, so it's sometimes it can be awkward, but if you actually look at my pictures, you can see the tremor in the lines, so they're not clean lines. It's not like a digital artist who can make their lines clean. I have to physically do it myself if people ask for clean line images. But the process I usually go through is I ask family, friends, customers, everything about the person that I'm drawing. So I want to know every character of that person. So whether they're grumpy, whether they're happy, whether they're caring, loving, humorous, whatever characteristic that person has, I try and put that into the image so I can find out more. The other characteristic I ask for, which sounds really weird, is the eye colour, because the eye colour is the most important thing that you notice first of all when you're talking to someone. You always look into their eyes, usually, unless you've got some sort of problem and you can't look into somebody's eyes when you're talking to them. But I usually look so I can see whether you're brown, hazel, blue, green, aqua, purple. I've seen purple eyes, which are really odd. But yeah, it's a basic characteristic for each person. It can change. Even though my daughter looks like me, she's got brown eyes. I've got blue eyes, so there is a difference. We have similar facial features, same shaped nose, mouth, but those characteristics are important, and that's how I try. Even though I'm not a caricaturist, that's the way I try and make those people look like the person that you're sending me. Sometimes people will say, "Oh, I can't see that as this person," and I think, but that's because you're judging yourself. So if sometimes somebody will send me a picture and they'll look at it and I'll draw that person and they say, "Oh, it doesn't look like me," but that's not how I see you. I see you in a different way, and you see you by judging yourself. Every person doesn't like something about themselves, whether it's a big nose or a hairline. Definitely my hairline. But you will always focus on a thing that you don't like, and I think that's why caricatures work better for some people when they want to make them look undignified is the word I want to use. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go and choose a friend on Facebook. I'm going to give them a free image, and I'll show you the process of how I work from beginning to end. So you'll see me do the pencil sketch, you'll see me do the inking, and then you'll see how I work on computer before I make the image itself. Sorry about that, my phone regularly goes off. But yeah, I hope you enjoy watching the process. So this guy here is Joe Malloy. He's a very good friend of mine for about the last 10 years. We're both massive wrestling freaks. We share a lot in common. He is a dame, he's a writer and scriptwriter for his own pantos as well. He goes out to perform, he sings and dances and screams on stage quite regularly, and sometimes actually looks like this. No, I mean this. That's not what I meant. What I actually meant is he actually he regularly likes to dress up in big frocks and put a lot of makeup on while he's performing as Dame Dolly. He writes his own shows. He performs around the country to families and children, and he's an incredibly sweet, friendly, funny person, and a very good friend. So to save time, I draw my own bases. There are several different styles and different bits and pieces that I use. So you're basically looking at shapes and form and the way you want somebody to look. So I've got high kicker, inactive, running, couples hugging, action shots, kicking shots. This is a performance piece with flags or microphones in your hand, flight, or just regular different types of bases that I use just to save time. Instead of me drawing out circles, squares and figuring out what I'm going to do, I'll make sure that I've got some form that I can quickly run off of. So he won't like me telling you this, but Joe has a very familiar characteristic that everybody likes to point out, and that's his nose. He's got a very big nose. He's not that he's not good looking at all, because he's a good looking boy, but that is a definite. So what I'm going to do is partialise this head. So I'll put a line down the centre of the face. That basically helps with symmetricality, if that's a word. Now his eyes and his ears will be somewhere halfway up the face. So if I put a line across, that's also the line for his top of his ears, which are rounded. So his ears are in. His nose is about 2/3 down his face. So the tip of his nose is 2/3 down his face. And then Joe's got a quite defiant smile. So his mouth is probably about halfway. No, it's about 1/3 of the way down this gap at the bottom. So we're going to put a line there for his mouth as well. So with his nose, he's got a rounded tip to his nose, but he's also got a very triangle shaped nose. So I'm going to put in the triangle where I think it should be for the size of his, and then curve the ends in for his nostrils. Line up the front because he's quite straight, and then with his mouth, he has a little dip in his mouth like a Cupid's bow, but a very big smile that raises across his face, and it's a rounded smile as well. So he's not got much of a bottom lip, so I'm going to draw in a lip that I think would fit, and then cheeks come off of his nose on the sides. I actually think that's probably too low. I'm going to bring his lip up a bit. Yeah, that's probably better. And then bring his mouth round with his teeth inside, and his lip can come. I'm just going to rub some of that out because that's too low for me, I think. So he's got a larger smile. That's better. That's a much better. And then put a bottom lip on. Now he's got a rounded chin, just like his dad, Tony, who is a great musician as well. And he's got a rounded jawline. So his nose is actually, that's better. Now his eyes are quite centralised to his face. They're very close to his nose, and they're on level with his ears. So I'm going to round off his eyes in archways, and I draw eyes not the same as everybody else. I make sure they look like they've got darkened parts at the top and pupils, and then I colour them from there. Joe's eyebrows are quite rounded as well, and he does quite regularly raise them, normally when he's laughing, singing or joking. I'm going to put in his folds in his ears as well. Now his hairline, he likes to have his hair quite high up his face, so that sounds really horrible, but it's true. His hairline, if you actually look on his face, his hairline is actually quite Indian door styled. When I say that, I mean it's domed, and his hairline's V cut at the top, so his hair swifts off to the to the right, which he quite has quite a quiff on. His sides of his hair are quite short, and he also wears glasses. With that big beaming face, it takes it away from the size of his nose, so he's going to kill me when he sees this. So I'm just going to draw the shape. He wears quite squared glasses, rounded at the bottom. So that's Joe with his glasses. Now I'm going to do him partial, so he's going to be in a Dane frock, but it's going to be his face. I might change it to a wig. I haven't decided yet. I'm not decided what I'm going to do, but I'm going to make him look quite girly. So I'm going to give him busticles. That's an email. And he always wears quite a wide rim skirt with a hoop underneath, so I'm going to make it come down either side like a bell, and then I'm going to put a bit of a flare on the bottom of the dress because it's wavy. I'm going to give him bigger shoulder pads because he does quite often wear shoulder pads. Give him that Joan Collins look. And I'm going to cut them off around the top of his bicep. I'm going to give him gloves that are quite long gloves. And in this hand I'm going to have him holding a handbag, so I'm going to make sure that his hand looks like it's overshot, over holding with a thumb, hang on the right hand, so the thumb will be on the inside, so the thumb's going to come on the inside, the handle of the handbag can go down like this, and we're going to make his handbag quite large. 2 straps, flap, and I will decorate it a bit. What am I going to make it look like? We'll make it look like a honey pot. That's what we'll make it look. So the big gloops of honey on the edge. More messages coming through. And button on there as well. We'll put a flare or a frill on the arms of the shoulder pads. And on this I've got the thumb overhanging with the hand over the bar like that. In this hand we will have a martini glass full of lemonade, because Joe don't drink, same as me. I'm not very much of a drinker. I do like a whiskey and a rum sometimes, but it gives him that Joan Collins sass. We'll make sure that, let's have a look at his dresses, because I think he likes a V-neck so he can breathe. Yeah, he does. So I'm going to give him a V-neck, so he can have his chest out, and a bunch of pearls on his chest. We'll give him a waist-cut dress with a belt. And then I'm going to give him some scoops on the dress so it looks like a Disney princess type dress as well. I think I'm going to give him a wig. So if I do this wig, the big scooping wigs that he likes. That way as well. I'll give him some big deep curls on the top, and then flowing locks of hair around the back. Now he's really starting to look like Dame Dolly. If I scoop it over the top of his ears, it's a better look because it looks more natural, like a natural haircut, you know. That's fine. I'm going to give him his big old eyebrows, his Dame eyebrows, which are black, so they'd go over the top of his eyebrows because you want to show character. I'm going to give him lashes. Big dolly glasses. We'll give him his lips because he likes his lips. He does his makeup very well. Bottom lip can actually be, that's better, and then we'll give him some cheeks as well. Dame Dolly's coming along. Yes. Right, now that's done, I'll get on with some inking. So this is how Joe looks to me in Dame Dolly outfit. He hasn't got the outfit that I'm drawing, I'm just coming up with something different for him. And the tools that I always use are a basic rubber, the pencils that you used to get at school, the Statler, which are easy to find anywhere. I use regular amounts of Sharpies. I'm actually running out, I need to get some more. I also use Beryl fine liners, which are really hard to find. Any fine liner will do, but usually when I'm doing caricatures at school events or conventions, I normally try and find something that's permanent so it doesn't run when I'm doing colour caricatures. What I'm going to do now is just go over the base of what I've drawn with a Sharpie. So just make sure it's a proper shot, not that one, that's a bit blunt. I'm probably going to end up picking up loads that are blunt. Yeah, these ones will blunt, I need to put them in. So Let's see what I've got here. Brand new one. Oh, there's a new one. Right, this is a new one, so that's a bit handy. So I'm just going to move over. So from here, I'm going to follow the line that I've done for the dress. I need the sweeps. This gives you the fold in the dress itself. And then here I'm going to put in the belt and waistline. Shoulders. Now the details on the face, I usually wait to use a thinner pen. Just because it's a finer tip and it looks better with facial features, so that when I do scan into the actual computer itself, it will still pick up the lines that I've drawn, but I can get better details with a finer tip. So he's resting his glass on his thumb. His Joan Collins Sex on the Beach, or Harvey Wallbanger. Not the jar drink it, he'd probably take one sip and spit it out. This is his fingers, his gloves. His gloves are the same on this one. And then here we've got a thumb with the strand of the actual handbag coming through, and his fingers can go here. Sometimes my hands don't look right. That's probably because I draw 3-finger hands, and the 3-finger hands are a Hanna-Barbera thing. It just simplifies the way a hand can look when drawn. It gives me more of an option and a better stance of drawing a clearer hand, so it looks cartoony. Or make sure that I've got some honey dripping down the side of this honey pot. Now I've got pearls of wisdom around his neck. Breasts underneath. Now he's got a rounded chin. His hairline is going to be slightly different because I'm drawing over his ears. So I'm going to put the curls in for the curls that he's got on the top. Now normally with these points on a Sharpie, I'll use paint.net to make sure they're sharper line. They look sharper on a picture. So his ears are going to be rounded. His jawline comes down past his ears. That's the back of the wig. And the curls in his hair. And that one there can come around here as well. So this is basically the shape of his face so far. So he's got a wig line, so his wig line will raise over the top and past his ears slightly. Yeah, that's better. I normally put in a couple of hairlines. So now I'm going to go into using, oh, I forgot his feet. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? Drawing his feet, which were going to be, I can still make them heels. I'll change that when I'm online. Now I'll get my fine line pen out and decide on what I'm going to do with his face. So push my glass out my face. That's his nose. That's better. His rather large nose. Now his mouth. His lips. And his smile and his larger bottom lip when he's putting his makeup on. And that's pretty much the shape of his face. I'm not going to put in the cheeks just yet because I want to put in his eyes. So
and normally when I do the glasses I'll do that online, and I'll clear up his eyes better as well, because I want to make him cleaner. I don't want to have unsymmetrical eyes because it just stands out. I'm going to do him his Dame Dolly eyebrows over the top of his real ones. Yeah, I think that's about right. What am I missing? Glasses? No, because everything else I'm going to put on when I've scanned it into the computer. Curls. Is there anything I'm missing? His armpit, actually, because your armpit comes under your arm. I'm going to give him another load of honey drips underneath his belt. This is a very gooey dress for Joseph. I've done his fingers and his thumb. I just want to make sure his thumb looks like it's out somewhat. I think that's as far as I can go with the inks on here. So what I'm going to do now is scan this into the computer. So after scanning in the image, after I've rubbed out all the pencil lines, you'll still see that there's quite a few pencil lines you can still see. So normally what I do is, instead of rubbing them out, I fill in the areas with white, so it will take out all the excessive pencil lines that you can still see, so I can actually see the shape that I'm working with. There and there, in the honey pot. Works the same as when you was at school. Oh, I just suddenly realised I missed part of his hand in the right, if I zoom in here, go back and draw in probably about 11 or 12 and that's it. Right, so his hand is all fixed there. Now I'm going to fill in the grey area that I've got with black, so you end up with one file that's quite large. His eyes and that obviously don't get touched because they're not attached to the rest of the drawing, so I have to fill them in and make sure that I've got enough area. I don't like having thick lines on cheeks, so normally what I do is I use a lining tool to take out the side parts, so I've got more of a point on them. And I normally sweep out on the nose as well, so that it looks more natural. Not like a it's stuck on your face type thing, you know. Cut out these here for him because he's got quite a wide nostril area. And with the eyes, even though I've drawn them, I normally take them out again, so I normally go up to about a size 70 brush, 100% circle, and just whack them out of the way so that I can get a cleaner shape on the eyes. The eyes are important, for me they're important anyway. Clean up their eyebrows. I want about a level 60 for his eyes. I'm going to put them to the side. Oh, do that in black, not in white. So I'm going to pull them out to the side a bit so they look more like Joe's eyes. Take it down to about 45 to fill in this white area. And then get the lining tool back on about 13. And set his under eyes. I don't like them squared either, I normally round them off like a pencil point. Excuse me. And eyes shouldn't be perfect. Nobody's face is symmetrical. Doesn't matter what anybody says, you can't have a symmetrical face. If you had a symmetrical face, then you'd just be a sheep. So I blacken the top of the eye. And I give him his pupils a size, no, 30 is too big, about 25 for this one. And make sure that I've got glimmer on the eye as well, because he deserves a glimmer on the eye. What else am I missing here? I want to tidy up his mouth a little bit, so I'll get as fine a point on it as I can, because he has got quite a fine point on his mouth. I forgot his ear there. I'll draw in his ear and bring his jawline up a little bit. Now his eyelashes, I want to make sure those lines are quite clean as well for when I'm filling in later. So I'll do that on about size 14, which is a little bit bigger than the tip that I was using, but I can clean out his eyes. There you go. That's better. Clean his eyes up, clean his chin up so it's more of a fine line, not so rounded off, because nobody has a bump on their chin like that. The curls on the hair, I can sharpen them up as well. I know it takes time, and I know it's probably not the way most people work, but it's how I work, so I'll make sure that I sharpen them off so they're more pointed and not so rounded. There you go. That one now, that's quite rounded as well. I've got one boob. So I don't like the fact that his pearls aren't perfect, so I will choose a size probably about 25, yeah 25, and go over each one that I've drawn to make sure they look more symmetrical, and if they don't cover the area, I just round them off. I mean, some people are quite particular about having quite clean lines, but I just don't have the ability to do it with the way my hands are. Let's curl these off a little bit as well. That one's been done, that one can be curled off. I think that's as well as I'm going to get it curved up. His armpit can be pinned down, so can his boob. That one there. And these lines here for the dress don't just stop, they fade off, so we'll try and curve them out a little bit with a pinpoint. Not, that's better, I like that. I prefer it like that. That one there, and then that one can be curved off as well. Let's just zoom in and tidy this bit up so I can get rid of that bit there on the goo. So it's basically lined out as much as I can on what I've got. That if I use a shape and I use it as a filled shape of white, I could actually make that into a better button with a thinner line. That's a bit better. Okay, thin hands, everything's done there, that's done there. Now I'm going to use a skin tone. So normally I'm quite precious with skin tones. Joe is quite fair skinned, he's got fair hair, he's quite fair skinned, he's got dark eyes, brown eyes. That's what we'll do, is we'll fill in his eyes with brown. Now I need skin colour, so skin colour is going to be a fleshy tone. I don't want it too tanned, I want him quite fair, so we'll fill in his arms, because his arms are, I can't really do his legs because it's covered with a dress, and his face is pink as well. Oh, I've just filled in his hair with the pink, so I'll have to cut that off and do that bit again in white. That's better, and then fill this in with white. So you can see where the pink's filled in. I'll make sure his lashes, oh, edit, undo, are split properly as well with a bit of colour. I don't want them too perfect. I don't really like anything too perfect. I like the fact that I've got that Beano type look where it's cartoony but looks like it's been sketched. There you go. Now he's going to have, what colour lips are we going to, we'll give him bright red lipstick. Bright red lipstick. There you go, on his face. Now on his eyes, he usually goes quite wild with his eyes, so I'm going to do, he's got blue and orange in that. I'm going to do his dress like a golden princess dress, so yellow but put a bit of orange in there and take it down a tab or two so it's that type of colour. That's about a honey type of colour. Filling, oh, I need to turn it up a bit, let's undo that. I'll turn the filling in, that's better, that's better. His gloves are going to be honey coloured as well. Nope, It's the only thing about doing it on here. That's going to be honey coloured. His shoes are going to be honey coloured. Now see his heel's not attached, so I want to make sure that his heel's attached to the rest of him. I'll bring this down to here like this and make sure it's sharpened off. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so yeah, now we want to put on his cheeks. He likes these big pinky cheeks, so we're going to make it as pink as possible, quite faded out and quite see-through, so it looks like natural makeup, but I want him to have big cheeks underneath, like that. With his eyes, we're going to go orange and yellow. Orange, yeah, we'll do orange. I'll take the size of the font down to about 15 and make sure that we give him proper covered eyebrows, so in, round and down, and then the rest of it we'll do yellow. I like to try and keep from going over the lines as well. I'll trade that off in a minute and cut that off with some black, but I'll fill the rest in with yellow. No, oops, shoot, that's not what I wanted to do either. Make sure it's clean lines, and then fill that in with yellow as well. So we'll zoom out. Yep, that's more like it. His belt, I want actually more yellow, so I'm going to add a tinge of yellow to the gold, so it changes slightly. And I'm going to nick that colour from there and fill in the hem of his dress with that as well. Let's make sure his bag matches with the rest of his dress. Make sure there's a solid line in there, which it is. And now we're going to tidy that up with that black line there to go around his bosom. That's fine as well. I want to put a couple of tighten lines on the strands because you don't naturally do that either. Now the honey pot is looking quite cool, so if we give that a red cherry in that, take a red cherry, that's size 45, put that in there, and then take a wooden stick out of the drink itself, scoop that down to about that, that's right, like that. Now with the background I'm going to clear, so I'm going to turn this into a transparent file so that I can move it onto a separate scene. But to be honest, I'm liking the picture as it is at the moment. I'm just going to give him some glasses. So his glasses are going to be orange. No, we've got orange in there. We're going to give him red glasses. Yeah, a red glass. So what I want to do is get a shape like this around, open it up to the size that I think would be comical, and then do the same again on the other side. And line in between so that we've got Joe's beautiful face framed. Let's have a look at this. He's got his big glasses, he's got his honey pot dress. I might actually change his hair and put some, I'm going to put some colour into his hair, so I want yellow again because of the theme of being a honey pot. On the inside of this I'm going to give him some yellow of the curls on the inside of each curl, a bit of yellow on that side just to blend in, yellow on this bit here as well, that's better, yellow on the inside of this curl, not clean lines, yellow on this curl here. That's the inside of that curl, so I'll put yellow on there and have a bit coming out here as well, and down the bottom as well. Let's just check the other side. Yeah, there's one there. Come round, make sure we try and fill it as best as we can. That's going to be filled as well. And this one here, I'll make sure that goes round to as far as I think it should go. Yeah, probably go behind his glasses as well, and then come out the other side to fade it off. And then when I want to fade it off, I fade it off using the black so it thins out the yellow as well. That's better. Bit of colour in his hair, bit of his dress, and that's basically the finished piece. Actually, there is something I missed, which is detail. So normally I go quite faded. I bring in the colour that I've used as a theme, which is yellow and orange, and I try and bring up the colours on the dress. So that wasn't deep enough. I need to make sure it's deeper and it's more sparkly. So it's still not right. Maybe I'll use an orange then instead and see if that helps. Yep, the orange comes up. So what I'm going to do is just put in some detail so it looks like a bit of glimmer and a bit of sparkle on his dress, because he does like a bit of sparkle and glitter. On the sides, I'm quite random where I put in the dots. I try to keep them shaped around each of the shapes that I can see in the picture, but it's normally just to give an effect. And yeah, alright, it takes me some time, but it's different and people normally notice it. They say, oh, how much detail have you got in there? Sometimes I zoom right in, especially if somebody's got a tattoo. I'll find as much detail and simplify it just to give it a bit of sparkle, you know. Personalise, and everybody's got different things that they like. It looks like I've got a spotted dick armpit at the moment. Or a sponge armpit, that's what he looks like he's got. It's really weird doing videos because it feels like I'm just talking to myself, which is what I am actually doing. So I'm trying to keep you involved in the way of my thought process as well, and hopefully you'll realise why I do things the way I do. I'm not saying every artist does the same way. All artists have their own skills and ways and set ways of doing things. Mine's just self-taught, so I didn't go to art school. I was told I'd go nowhere as a cartoonist. Well, whoever said that, I won't mention their name, they were wrong. I've been doing it 17 years, so something must be going right somewhere. I actually really like that with the orange on, so I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to improve that anymore. What I will do is clear that glass out of colour and fill it in with a glass colour, so a light blue, a see-through blue. Yeah, that's better. So basically this is a PNG, which is a transparent file that can be printed onto anything from t-shirts, and it means I can move that around anywhere I like on any format and place it anywhere I like. So I'm going to get a stage background and put it on the stage background. So now I've taken that clear file, which is a PNG file. I've taken the image of Joe that I've drawn and I have basically stuck him on top of a stage background, back curtain. I've put my logo on it obviously, but what I want to do is make sure he looks like he's in the spotlight. So what I do is I select a giant circle over the top of him. That's probably about right. Yeah, that's probably about right. And now with that, I'm going to take the paintbrush and I'm going to take a yellow light very faintly and make it the largest size possible on that paintbrush and just go over the top. So 500. So I don't like that yellow, I think that's too much. Okay, let's try a white. Undo that. I'm going to do it as a clear white. That's better, so we'll try this. There you go. So you're whitening out Joe so he looks like he's spotlit, and then I deselect that circle and I'm left with a spotlit Joe. So that's basically it. That's the whole process for a character. That's quite slow for me. I'm normally quite a lot quicker than that. I think it's because I was trying to explain what I was doing at the time, but that's basically how I do one person. I usually work on it and make sure everything's as perfect as I can get it, and obviously I try to
capture who he is and what he's about. Joe's all about fun, making people laugh, looking comical, and like I said, he's very sweet. So the honey was in my head. That's what I saw. He'll probably hate me for using him, but I don't care. But yeah, that's basically the process. So if anybody was interested and they wanted to know more, they could always message me at littleimages.co.uk. As you can see on the new t-shirt with plenty of characters on. This will be for sale, of course. But every image I do is a parody. There's nothing about it that is serious. I always try to make it quite comical, quite funny, try to raise smiles for miles, and make sure that I give the person who's asked for the image what they're looking for. That's normally for me a promise, so I try to keep to people's budgets. I try to get the job done on time. It's all about making people happy, and that's the reason I do this. If this video's giving you a giggle, or if you've taken interest, please message me on littleimages.co.uk, Facebook, at Buckworth on Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, that's it. So basically, that's the end of my video. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a like. Please comment below and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.